1 second.
I just want him to catch a message, through the pain, through the hurt. Just want him to catch a message, keep on hustling, putting work. Just want him to catch a message, stand tall and fight back. Let him know you ain't gotta live like that. Catch a message, through the pain, through the hurt. Just want him to catch a message, keep on hustling, putting work. Just want him to catch a message, stand tall and fight back. Let him know you ain't gotta live like that.
I look around like where the good times at. I just wanna bring the good times back. And if the good die young, why am I still alive? Maybe I deserve that fact. And the stars only shine when the dark come. Got me think about where I got my start from. We the new breed, who are we? We the lost ones. We the generation that embrace it like an art form. Here we go. And if you're sitting in a tight spot, then you in the right spot. Man, I swear to God, I done been there. One shot like stop. Shot I lost a lot of homies that were here and they vanished in the same air. Yeah, it's like a roll of the dice. Pay the ultimate price. So do you stand up and fight? Do you throw in the side and say, I'm out or stand tall and prepare for the fight of your life? See me, I still battle with a...
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the No More Heroin Survivor Series. No More Heroin Survivor Series is sponsored by No More Heroin, 501c3, and we are powered by Prove It Ketones over here. Shameless plug. Survivor Series is a video testimonial series of people that have overcome seemingly insurmountable odds to have and live a life of purpose and destiny. And today is no different. We have an amazing guest and Dr. Robb Kelly, PhD. He's a highly sought out recovery, addiction, trauma expert. He's been on all platforms, all over the place, and it's an honor to have him. He has been a guest on a syndicated show called The Doctors. We all know what The Doctors is about, and it's an amazing opportunity for us here to have him share his time with us. And I believe he's on his lunch break, so he's jumping on a live with us. And with that, I will bring in Dr. Kelly. Hi, Dr. Kelly.
Hey guys, how are we doing today?
Fantastic. I'm really, really excited for my following and the shares to hear what you have to say. The Trauma Gateway to Addiction seminar was phenomenal, and I got so much out of it. And I really believe there's a lot of people out there that are struggling with trauma that don't even know they have trauma. And there's ways to get through it. There's ways to stay clean and sober through dealing with all these issues that we have in life, and being able to identify these issues and have a positive support network and coping tools is what's going to carry us through in the future. And with that, I'm gonna let you take it away, sir. Thank you for your time.
Oh, no problems at all. My name's Dr. Robb Kelly. They call me the Addiction Doctor. Don't know why. Good to be here, guys. I'm coming live from San Antonio, Texas, but as you can tell by my accent, I'm from Manchester, United Kingdom, and I have a practice over here and as well as 3 other countries. I specialize in addiction and trauma, behavioral, and family as well, because my story goes back to when I was 9 years old is when I first took that drink. And I know now, but not then, and that set off my alcoholism. See, what nobody told me as a child was that there were alcoholism in the family. So here's a brave statement. Do your homework. You'll find out I'm right. Is alcoholics are born, drug addicts are made. So there's a predisposition when it comes to alcoholics. The basal ganglia and the hypothalamus are different to anybody else. They're born different. There's a malfunction there. That's why alcohol is. I also have a biochemical reaction to the ethanol in alcohol, which makes me an alcoholic. Nobody told me that then. They just didn't understand alcoholism whatsoever. The nearest I got to there's alcoholism in the family is grandfather liked to drink. Well, you know what that means. It's a bloody chronic alcoholic, that's for sure. So I suffered badly as the years went on. I came from what you guys would call the projects, very low income, low government assisted housing, and just trying to make a living. Mom and dad. My dad worked for the gas company, and my mom cleaned other people's houses for a living. So that was my parents. So I went to normal school, but I played in bands with the musical family for the first 5 or 6, 7 years. That was playing a musical instrument because I wanted to be a pro musician, and I was good enough to be a pro musician. I know that, but I became a band leader and a band member, and we did gigs all over the country. And then I found studio work, which means I go in, they give me a score of music, I play it, and they give me a fortunes and walk out an hour later. So I kind of specialize in that. But I'm drinking and using all the time. I've started to take amphetamines now because it was really big in the area that I grew up in. And it was bodybuilding, you know, so I would put a lot of weight on to train, and then coming off, I'd go on the amphetamines and come off the alcohol. So obviously I wasn't an alcoholic, to trim down and really strip down for competitions. But as time went on, I always knew I wanted better than my life and that my family provided. And I'm still not sure why. I had this mind of the alcoholic that, you know, it's never enough. I always want more all the time. So I first of all got a session job at Strawberry Studios, which is 10cc studio in a place called Stockport, just outside Manchester. And eventually, long story, but I ended up at Abbey Road in London. Beatles, all the guys who played there, played with Elton John, David Bowie, Queen, all them guys, lucky enough. But now I'm on cocaine and alcohol. And things are going okay, but I don't remember a lot of things because there were blackouts in there. I didn't know what a blackout was. I thought a blackout was to go unconscious and then come around the next day. But obviously, if you don't know what a blackout is, it's like we function like other people, like normal. And sometimes people don't know we're drunk. Sometimes they do, but we have no recollection. The brain just blocks it out completely. However, it's all stored in the subconscious brain. So everything we hear, we see, we feel, we touch is stored in the subconscious brain. Every single memory is stored. The problem is sometimes the normal brain doesn't want to bring that out and remember it. So we stick it in the subconscious brain. That's where my disease lies, in the subconscious brain. My disease will come to me on a Friday and go, hey, let's have a drink, Rob, without me even knowing it. And a couple of days later, boom, you know, I've already relapsed. But the relapse comes a week, 3 days, a week before the actual picking up of the drink. See, the picking up of the drink or the drug is not the relapse. The relapse is behavioral, you know, say a week later. So what happens to my hypothalamus, real quick, is it's defective to drink alcohol only. So at a certain point of my drinking career, I go through the normal drinking, heavy drinking, abusing alcohol. Then what happens is I cross over to alcoholism, which means that my hypothalamus says drink alcohol. So that's why we can go days or weeks without alcohol, without food or water, because my brain's telling me that. So absolutely amazing journey from there. But yeah, glad to be here, man. Glad to see you two on as well. Thanks.
So real quick, my co-host here is Amanda Marker. Her platform is Pain to Purpose. She's a recovery coach, nutrition and wellness guru. She's been a major support, and we have a reciprocal friendship, and we support each other personally and professionally. And we both struggle with trauma as well, and looking for coping tools, looking for signs and symptoms. The longest time, I was fucked up and didn't know why. And I had all these feelings and emotions that were irrational, and I self-medicated that craziness in my head for a very, very long time. And I think there's a lot of people out there that are like myself and Amanda and yourself, Doctor, that need some hope, some guidance, some coping tools. Let's get through this shit and let's live the life that we're supposed to live today, right?
100%. And I want to say this as well, that I have been in the industry for over 30 years, and I have dealt with over 7,500 patients, along with our research and our studies and our trials. I mean, we've really dealt into this because of my alcoholism. So anything I say might seem a bit crazy, like what? There's tried, tested, test. Most of it is research and we're coming out shortly. But we spent a lot of time on this. Trauma is the gateway drug. There you go. I said it. Trauma Absolutely. Is the gateway drug. That from that stems all sorts of disease and malfunctions across the body. Now, the important thing is to realize what trauma is, because most people don't know what trauma is. They think it's a car crash or divorce or a plane crash. Not necessarily so. So with the alcoholic brain, there's no such thing as a big T and a small t, which you sometimes hear in therapy. With the normal people out there, yeah, go on, man, I'll go for that. But with the alcoholic, everything is a huge big T. Let me explain what I mean. So me and my brother are stood on the kitchen table, and my mum walks in, and we're not supposed to be on the kitchen table, and she says to both of us, "Well, you get down off that table, you stupid idiot, get down." Now my brother laughs and jump off, but I freeze. And the reason why I freeze is because what I've heard, "Get out of that table, you stupid idiot." And when I explain that to alcoholics, they go, "Oh my God, yes." And the normal people go, I can't be true. We hear and see things differently than the normal person. So I'll just say alcoholic brain, I mean drug as well. The alcoholic brain is at a malfunction state where my basal ganglia, which is the repetition, strengthen, and confirms part of the brain, will self-sabotage every cycle. So I get the job, I arrive home, I get the job back, I get the car back, the wife back, the kids, bang, and I'm gone again. That's because of the trauma and the disease. If you try and sort the disease out and not the trauma, you will relapse. The trauma, you have to go back to the scene of the crime. You have to uncover, discover, and discard. So if you're working a solid 12-step program, by the way, the first 164 of that book them guys have got is the best piece of literature I've ever read. And I studied the medical side of alcoholism and addiction, but that's a great book. But if you don't sort the trauma out, you're going to relapse. And if you sort the trauma out, but not the alcoholism, then you're going to relapse. So this is a big deal to people. I ask most people today that I don't know what's an alcoholic, and they will say it's somebody who drinks too much. Alcohol has 1% to do with alcoholism and 1% to drug addiction.
Absolutely.
It's the symptom. I never had a drinking problem, I had a thinking problem. And that's where it differs. A lot of things differ to what you've heard before, guys, because our success rate is 97% across the board. Normal is a 5, 6, 7%. I mean, you've got to understand what we're dealing with. And we're not dealing with a substance, we're dealing with the brain. You have to know your neuroscience to get through this. You have to know that 3 parts of your brain doesn't work properly like other people's, and that we hear and see things differently to other people. And when you're the only one going through it in your family, that can be very confusing. Did you not hear that? Did you not hear what I say? And especially in schools, we push back to the back of the class, and then we're put in special ed. The reason why we do that is because it's boring for us. Our brain without alcohol is the most genius brain in the world. I've proven it time and time and time again. And quantum physics tells us that. Well, I can't be president of the United States. Well, I beg to differ today. Don't tell me you can't do anything. You can do anything you want to do once you're cleared of the trauma and the alcoholism or the addiction.
I'm interested in the conversation.
Absolutely. Amanda has a comment and a question.
Hey, Amanda.
Hello, Dr. Robb. I'm super excited to be here with you today. I would not have done this live with Higgy if it wasn't you. I reached out to you a few days ago, actually, after watching one of your lives about trauma. I believe it was on Knocking Down Doors.
Knocking Doors Down. My buddy Jason LaChance just absolutely loves you and your message.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
It was absolutely incredible. And I reached out to Dr. Robb, and he responded right away and was very compassionate and caring. And it was something that got me through the day. I've been on with suicide text lines and other things lately, struggling with thoughts of starting to relapse after 7 years of recovery. So every day has been kind of a survival mode. And Higgy here has been an awesome friend to me. And yeah, reaching out to people like Dr. Robb, kind of watching different informational, educational videos, trying to get to the bottom of it. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm really wanting to figure out how to access that trauma, right? How do you find it? How do you figure out where it hurts, where it's at, where it's located, so you can address it?
Yeah, how do you get to the core of the core?
Yeah, and sat in a room talking to somebody who's learnt a couple of months at college doesn't do it. You have to know you know, the in-depth. You have to use things like NLP. You have to use things like somatic experience. You have to use things like brain spotting. You have to use things, you know, deep psychology and understand neuroscience to grab all that trauma out and bring it. Otherwise, you're still going to be left with some. So here's the deal, guys. Okay, I don't fuck around with this disease. Okay, it killed me on two occasions, and they brought me back to life. So you've got to know what you're dealing with. You know, if you want to understand the trauma, you've got to pull it out with brain spotting. You know, and you've got to understand what trauma is. So we go back to the childhood and we run through the childhood with you. There's usually a molestation. There's usually some sort of sexual abuse. There's usually a bunch of self-harm stuff, suicidal thoughts. A parent can actually pass depression and suicide down to the children. It's called enmeshment. When I pass this down, you know, so my kids will go through it with no fault of their own. So it's really important that learned behavior from the past can kill you. We have to be careful. And the guys that come to us and the guys that get well break that cycle and break the chain. So going back with a few sessions with us will take you deep into your trauma and some of the stuff you don't know. You'll just know you'll be depressed. You'll just know you keep relapsing in it even after 7 years, which is awesome. But the question was begged to be asked is, why did you relapse? What was the week going up to that relapse? And you'll find that it's past trauma. You see, here we go here with the actual relapse. Here, down here in your past when you was a child is the reason why you relapsed. The trauma here. And you will not put the two together. So here's a real brief description of everybody can understand. I have 97 pairs of sneakers. And for those guys abroad, as training shoes. Now, why have I got 97? I didn't know. I just know I like collecting them and I always had a pair to wear. My therapist years and years ago took me back when I used to walk to school in my shoes and socks in the snow that had holes in. So that was traumatic for me. That Mama used to cut cardboard around and put it in the shoe. But after a half a mile of walking to school in the snow, they would obviously wear through and I was wet. My feet were wet all day. So my therapist said, well, what was all that about? I said, well, Mum could only afford 2 pairs of shoes a year and only so many socks. So then she said, when does Mum and Dad go out? Does she do anything? Did they go out for relaxation? I said, oh yeah, they go to the bar every Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. And this is what she said to me. Did your Mum and Dad go to the bar with holes in their socks and shoes? Oh. You see, I would never have put the two together, but it's the reason why. And that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. What you think is trauma and what has an effect on here is always the same. You can't put it together. It's the wildest thing. Girls come to me all the time and say, Dr. Robb, can you help me? Why do I keep attracting the guy that turns out to be an alcoholic or an addict and ends up beating me? And I go, what was Mum and Dad's relationship? And you go, oh, I said, yeah, it's learned behavior from caregivers around us. How else are you going to react? Because they're our peers. They tell us how to talk. They teach us how to speak, how to act, all that stuff. So you mix that with a nervous disposition or the alcoholic brain and depression passed down from parents, and you don't stand a fucking chance, guys. And you never did stand a chance. So nobody's going to knock at the door and wave a magic wand. There's work to be done, but there's 100% guarantee that you can recover, fully recovered. I'm a recovered alcoholic, end of story. And just for those who don't know what that means, in case you think it's cured, I can never drink alcohol safely again. But recovered means to gain one's health, I no longer have the allergy, and state of mind, I'm no longer insane. Because if you don't think you're insane when you're alcoholically drinking, you've got to be joking. The definition of insanity is not being able to see your own truth when it comes to alcoholism. I couldn't see how actually mad I was and crazy. When I stabbed my wife 3 times one night because she wouldn't let me finish the bottle of vodka that I started. And then I fled to Spain to make sure I wasn't arrested for attempted murder. Okay. When I'm falling down the stairs too drunk and fell on my 1-year-old baby and nearly killed her. When I left him at cinemas because Daddy wanted a fucking drink and drove 6 miles to the nearest liquor store, you know, and they had abandonment and trauma issues from that still today. If you don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, the recovered piece, the being able to get rid of that mental obsession, physical craving, you know, that's, to me, that's freedom. It really is. Not having to obsess over drinking, using, you know, the drug criminal lifestyle, and feeling whole again. And I've relapsed myself over the years, and I couldn't pinpoint why. What made it so attractive for me to go back to hell, where I didn't want to be, but I didn't know a different way. And digging into my trauma, I'm a disabled veteran as well. I've received some treatment, but talking with professionals like you that have actual lived experience has been more beneficial than anything else. Community and coaching.
Yeah, that compulsion to drink has to go, and it's the mental obsession. You can't crave for anything inside your body. So you hear people say all the time, craving for alcohol. That's not true. You have the mental obsession first. You take the drink. Now you can crave for the alcohol, but it doesn't work like that. I have an allergy to the alcohol. So the mental obsession comes first. If it's not change, you have to have a change of mind, psychic change. You need to change neural pathways, redirect neural pathways from self-sabotage to self-care. First of all, you need to change the hypothalamus and the basal ganglia. Then you need some sort of spiritual connection. Anything you want, universe, God, there's 20,000 gods, just fucking pick one. I hate it when people say that, you know, just do this. Because what happens is when you have a spiritual awakening and a psychic change, neural pathway change, your DNA changes. Why is that important? The same man will drink again. You know, period. And we've done so much research on this, because you know you're born again once you start doing this. And it's not, I don't push any kind of religion. I am a spiritual guy. I don't go to church, and I don't read the Bible. You know, I have my guy that I thank every single day and ask him to put somebody in my path that I'm aggressive and straightforward. I don't take any shit, and what you think of me is none of my fucking business. So once we get that out of the way, I'm the one who stands up and says what you're thinking. I don't care. We're getting people well. That's what this isn't about the money, because I run an aftercare service in 4 different countries. You have to pass an assessment before we take you on. You know, your wife or whoever the caregiver is, partner, has to come on board as well. If they don't, we won't take you. You know, we're not fucking, oh, come in, little Johnny, for the 12th time. Give me 30 grand for the 12th time. What the fuck are you doing if little Johnny's doing that? You know, that's why we give a money back guarantee. We're the only company in the world that does that. It's like, you have to back what you're talking about. You know, you have to. And unfortunately, and there's some great treatment centers. I love my treatment centers that I work with. I love counselors, therapists, doctors. You're amazing. But there is a few dicks out there who spoil it, who just in this for the monetary reasons. I've got no fucking time for them. Don't call me, don't text me, don't email me. We have nothing in common. You understand? I'm in the business of reuniting families. You're in the business of fucking earning money. And that's okay. I never said there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't mix in them circles. All my guys are recovered alcoholics and addicts, and all my guys have been through what I've been through, so they can tell. You see, when I go to a therapist and say to her, so who's not an alcoholic or addict, and you go, I can help you, and say, okay, so I'm going to stab you in the face repeatedly 20 times if you don't let me drink that bottle. Do you understand that? And she goes, oh my God, that's shocking. When I go to someone who's been through it, they go, oh yeah, yeah, I do that as well. That's cool. That's the difference. You have to have been there and done it. Have to.
So I threw up Dr. Robb Kelly's recovery group link. It's on the screen currently. It's in the comments as well. Please join that. Check it out. Follow Dr. Kelly. He has a professional page as well. Please go look up Dr. Robb Kelly and follow him. If anything that he's saying resonates with you, you're struggling in your recovery, feel that you have trauma issues and it's affecting your quality of life, find out why. First off, find out what it is and why and how to fix it.
That's the thing, how to fix it. I love that. And people out there have the answer. We have the solution, definition of solution, the act of solving the problem. There's people out here, you know, waiting to help you. You know, there's people who have the solution. So I don't blame anybody for the trauma, for the alcoholism, the addiction, the behavior. I don't blame anybody for that. What I do blame them for is get their help. Well, listen, I went to bed last night, I was 19. I woke up today, I'm 61. That's how fucking fast life goes. It goes that fast. What are you going to do? We're the only people that get 2 lives in one lifetime.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not going to mess the second one up. I'm going to go for it and do everything I can. I'm going to drive the most expensive car. I'm going to live in a great house. It's not about money. But why would you do it if you could? You know, some guy came to me. He wanted to be the foreman of the guys that sweep the road. You know, the part of the garbage people. That's what he wanted. That was his dream. I love it. Let's do it. Let's freaking do it. But this is about living free. Break out from that cell called addiction. You know, break out of it and live life to the full. Because we're lucky to get 2, but you know, I get 1 shot of this deal. When you're dead and gone, which will be a blink of an eye, by the way, you'll regret not having taken that step.
Yes, be proactive and make the best of this second chance that you get. I'm on my 320th second chance, but I'm still here, still persevering, still trying to figure things out. And today I'm clean and sober, and I'm having an amazing conversation with Dr. Kelly. This is a good life for me today.
So Dr. Robb, I definitely came here to soak up all the information that I possibly can to strengthen my recovery and the situation we're in. We are in a sober living home. I am here with my 2 small children. We currently left a 13-year-long relationship and just moved 4 states away to try to become dependent or independent. But so right now I have been struggling with thoughts of suicide. I reached out to somebody a few days ago in an attempt to get fentanyl, not because I wanted to get high, I wanted to get dead. And I recognize that those are my mother's thought patterns, right? Her thinking patterns. She was bipolar my whole childhood, struggled with suicide. I found her, many times. My siblings found her many times. So while I've never struggled necessarily with suicide, these thoughts are creeping up and overtaking me while I'm in a very overwhelmed space, right? So I have recognized these thinking patterns and these things that are not mine. This is my mother's trauma that I kind of took on as my own. I let it go and just get it out of me.
So is this like an example of generational trauma passed on?
Yeah, definitely passed down. So let me give you some home truth, Amanda, if I may. You are absolutely stunning. First of all, just so beautiful, it's unreal. You're very intelligent, I can tell. And you can do what the fuck you want to do in life. I know you can. You see, alcoholics and addicts have one thing in common, that we're geniuses once we put it down. Suicide is a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Ever heard the saying, this too will pass? It so much will. If you do the right thing and have somebody looking after you up there, then life will get better and better. And the only reason you're going through this, Amanda, I'll tell you right now from my experience, the only fucking reason is because this experience you're going through is needed for the people that you're going to lead into recovery and into fucking greatness. That's the only reason. You think my homelessness and loss of kids, and dying twice and beating people up and stabbing people, you think that was hard? No. It's like a semester at Harvard. That's what you're doing now. You're at Harvard and you're doing a semester there. And when you get well, because you fucking will, but even if I've got to see you myself, you'll be able to look back and get on and speak with experience. Because when somebody comes up in a year or 2 time, when you're in your own house and your kids are doing well and everything, you got the car and everything like that, and they go, what do you know, Amanda? You've never been in my position. And you can go, sit down, my friend. Let me tell you exactly where I was a couple of years ago. That's the only reason why you're going through it. So my advice is bask in this pain and bask in the position you are now. Because me, you, and Higgy were fighters we always succeed. Listen, we should be dead 10 times over. 10 times over. We're not. Somebody's keeping us alive. And the reason why they're keeping us alive, well, you'll see. I know why he's keeping you alive, Amanda, and Higgy, and me. I know, because I'm old and I've been through a lot of shit in my life and I've seen miracles on a daily basis. So that's the real truth, Amanda. So take them negative thoughts and through a session, a trauma session, fucking give it back to your mom. You can have them. I don't need them. I'll take your looks and your figure and all that smile. Yeah, give me that one. But you see the suicide and the trauma, you can keep that shit. I don't need it anymore. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That was beautiful.
I want to thank you for your transparency. You know, it's so hard to ask for help when
Yes.
you need it. And I just applaud Amanda for being so transparent and real and being engaged, her bravery for coming on here and addressing the issue, because she does have purpose. Her purpose has been found through her pain, hence pain and purpose, or whatever. I'm struggling right now, but this is what we do in recovery when we're struggling. Do not hide. Do not isolate. Do not listen to the voices in your head. I know this for myself because that's what I'm prone to do. You know, if I had the answers up here for all my issues, I would have figured this out a long time ago. That itty bitty shitty committee in my head is telling me I'm worthless, I'm no good, I'm a fraud, I'm a poser, I'm an imposter, whatever. And that's the furthest thing from the truth, because I'm here through lived experience and pain. And I still want to know more. I want to know more. I need to add more tools to my recovery toolbox. And this is what we're doing here today.
Yeah, always. The more tools we have, the better. You know, we have to watch that internal dialogue, because here's the studies we've done. So Lauren, Elizabeth, listen up to this. You'll understand this. Is
I love you,
the
Lauren.
voice that tells me to go and buy flowers for my wife is different to the voice that tells me that I've stolen something. Okay? Now stay with me here. Okay? Hard Knocks Talk. Shut up. Good to see you guys. So what happens is the voice, when I steal something, I know I've done something wrong. My stomach goes jittery. I feel bad. The voice in my head says, you shouldn't have done that. Okay? The voice for going to my wife and taking flowers is a different voice. Okay? We all understand that. Yeah, two different voices. The voice that tells me to self-harm and self-sabotage, alcohol, drugs, suicide, depression, is the same voice that's flowers to the wife. So if you listen to your internal dialogue, you don't stand a chance. Don't believe everything you think. Believe me. So watch this. The mind sits inside the brain. Now, I know you thought they were one thing. They're not. It's just like the eyes are an extension of the brain. It's not eyes, cord, brain. It's an extension of the brain. That's why so much can be done with the eyes. So it's very important that we know this stuff. And it's very important that we don't listen to that bad internal dialogue. So what happens is you start talking to yourself. If you stand in the mirror tomorrow, do anybody do this, guys? And if I'm wrong, send me an email. I'll send you $100. Stand in front of the mirror tomorrow and shout to yourself, today is going to be an amazing day. Yeah. And if you have a bad day, give me a text. I'll send you some money. It's impossible. And talk to yourself and God during the day and just be positive. And if you're feeling a bit down, pick up the phone, call somebody, or if you're out and about, compliment 3 people. When you compliment people, reward system is dopamine, which makes us feel good. And if you don't think complimenting people can't change someone's day, do this for me. Next time you're out and about, pick one person in the crowd, walk past them and go, hey, nice sneakers, buddy. And he'll go, oh, thank you. And as he walks past you, turn around and watch him. He's going to look down at his sneakers at least 3 times. You just change that guy's day. If you're not changing the world, what the fuck are you doing? You sat at home pissing and moaning, going to your pissing and moaning meetings,
right,
not doing nothing.
Random acts of kindness.
You, the guys listening, you, the guys on Facebook, you have been chosen. It's not me. Yeah, it's you. Well, I'm not good enough. If you're sat at home thinking you're not good enough and you never amount to anything, listen, I want to apologize to you because somebody's put that there. We're born with $1 million minds, alcoholics and addicts. $1 million minds. Stop fucking with 10-cent minds. You have to believe that we are special. You have to believe that we are world changers. We can change the world. Well, no. You can change the world. If your mom and dad sees you well, you've changed the world. If you go on to do something amazing, you've changed the world. And it all starts with you. And if you think for a second it's not you, there's no such thing as coincidences. There's a reason why you're listening today. There's a reason why you're on this. You have to take ownership of what God or universe or whatever Uncle Bob up there's give you and move forward on it. You see, my spiritual journey is a bit like a car with power steering. When the ignition turned off, I can't even move the steering wheel. But when the ignition is on, I can move the steering wheel and move forward. So God will direct you into whatever path you want. Once the self-sabotaging neural pathways are diminished, because it's a bit like this, guys, for those that are watching. Here's my self-sabotage neural pathways. There are billions in the brain, okay? This is, I'm going to drink. This is, I'm going to fuck myself up because I fucking hate myself. This is how my brain works 100% of the time. What happens when you get into a good program is this, okay? Now the knee-jerk reaction is to be kind to yourself, kind to others. The compulsion to drink, self-sabotage has diminished, okay? But what they're always going to be there. So let me take you through neural pathways really quick. This is really important, guys, okay? Stick with me here. If I want to drive a car, I get in the car, I start lessons, I go out with my dad, I do everything I need to do, okay? And sooner or later, I pass my test. And what happens is I can drive. Now I can reverse down the driveway, wave to my girlfriend, call my wife, you know, everything I want to do because I don't have to think about it, okay? Let's say I go back to England for 2 years, where now I'm driving a right hand on the left-hand side of the road. This neural pathway for America diminishes. It doesn't go away, but it diminishes. So when I come back to the US, I'm going to need an hour a day just to get that neural pathway back up to speed, okay?
Wow.
Listen to this shit, okay? So when I'm an alcoholic, the self-sabotaging path, the relapse and everything we need, okay, is built. Now I keep realizing. Now I want to get sober. So I go into treatment, I start getting sober. And then for whatever reason, see, this hasn't moved. For whatever reason, I relapse. You see, this hasn't done this. It stays there. So when my thought pattern comes, it was just like I finished yesterday. That was my year sobriety. It's a progressive illness. It doesn't do this. It stays there and continues from there. It's very important that we know this. So the self-sabotaging neural pathways have to go from here to here. They're always there, but they're not the immediate reaction. And once you understand that, you're kind of halfway there to solving the riddle of self-sabotage and behavior.
That's right. Well, coming into recovery, everyone always told me I needed to work on my self-care, but they never told me how to do it. So learning how to love ourselves is probably the hardest thing that I've had to do, because I had all this disgust, self-loathing, and flat out didn't believe that I was worth saving.
Yes.
It wasn't worth recovery. I've done some horrible, horrible things. I've seen horrible, horrible things that I can't get out of my mind. I got all this internal turmoil going on, and I don't want to drink or use, but here I am. I'm isolating, and I'm left to my own devices, and there I go again, off to hell, trying to figure out how I got there and why. How am I going to get out of this? And even questioning if it's worth it to fight.
It's very easy to commit suicide. It's very easy to give up on life. You know, when I was homeless, I didn't go to hell, but I could sure see it from where I was. And it looked pretty inviting towards the end. But the real thing is why are we on this journey? Why did we go down as far? And I don't mean monetary homeless as the rock bottom they talk about. Why have I done that? Why am I going through this shit? And the reason is that you're being trained to go on to help other people. That's the only reason. We're very chosen people. Don't ever think for a second that we're not. So self-care, if you go to the mirror every single day, you see my subconscious brain is full of shit. Wants to kill me and make it look like an accident, piece of shit, no good. All learned behavior from parents, by the way, even though they're not to blame, it came from their parents. But we have to stand in front of the mirror tomorrow morning. When you scream out to yourself, it's going to be a great day. As soon as you finish that, say, I love you 10 times. I love you. I love you. I love. It's not going to do anything for you right away, but you're going to stack that subconscious brain because you are worthy. And make sure you do something once a week That's self-care. Moisturize your feet, go for a sauna, go for a meal, cinema, tennis, whatever it is. Be kind to yourself, because stop looking as alcoholism addiction as something terrible. Okay? Oh, it must be terrible. It's a fucking superpower. That's what it is, a superpower. I can do things that normal people can't do, and everyone listening to this is exactly, you know what I'm talking about, guys. One alcoholic to another, boom, we're further on down the line than anybody can be. Use these gifts from God, higher power, Uncle Jimmy. Use these gifts that have been given to us, okay, to go on and help other people. I've never seen my youngest child since they took him off me at 1 year old. I've never seen her. 30 odd years on, I still haven't seen her. But you know, I'm doing the right thing, and I'm doing it for a right reason, and I'm helping people, and we do a lot of pro bono work, and we give $150,000 away back into the community every fucking year. And I have a passion, and I'm working with half the guys in my 12-step meeting free of charge. It's a passion. So what happened was God, universe, Uncle Jimmy, 2 years ago, gets my daughter, my eldest daughter, when she was 3, to contact me on Messenger. I got it at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just crying because I've not seen her for 28, 30 years. I'm crying. We flew over on the red eye. We hugged her door. I was so nervous. And then she walked me into her living room and she handed me my 3-month-old granddaughter. Right there and then, if the God would have taken me, I would have been such a happy man. You know, a year ago today, she opened my Manchester office as my lead therapist.
Wow, that's
Don't tell me that we're not meant for better things, because I fucking call you wrong on that one. I call bullshit. So Amanda, you're awesome. You're freaking awesome. You make sure you stay in there, and Higgy will give you a sobriety slap every now and again to make sure.
Yeah, you guys, I guess telling the first part, I should explain a little bit about how we handled the situation. I did reach out to Dr. Robb Kelly a few days ago. He gave me his cell phone number and offered for me to call him, which I will be doing, to pick your brain some more, because this has been awesome and beautiful. And I reached out to the people who are closest to me and told them myself. And when they didn't hear me, I said it again. And eventually they heard me. I wasn't able to do my regular routine of coping mechanisms and get myself to a place to where I could do my exercise and do my meditation and prayer and the things I know that I needed to do but couldn't seem to do. And Jen lives here with me. She's one of my good friends, and she bugged me and came in and made me go jogging with her yesterday, and then slept outside my bedroom door on the sofa.
We don't give up on people around here.
No, I like that. I like
Not
that.
what we do.
So there's 4 chemicals in the brain every single day, Amanda, that you need, and everyone else listening. There's 4 prime chemicals needs to happen. Endorphins, get to the gym, walk around, move around for 20 minutes a day. You're going to get them endorphins flowing into the brain, okay? Second is dopamine. We talked about it. Compliment somebody or receive something and say thank you. Don't try and explain. Nice t-shirt. Wow, I just threw. Thank you. Okay, the dopamine's great shoes, great sneakers. Dopamine's going. The serotonin is the social belonging. Get out there, mix with people, chat to people, plenty of sunlight. There's my 3 chemicals every day. And the 4th is oxytocin, which is my bonding. Hug somebody, child, sister or brother. This is what we need to do. When them 4 chemicals are going in your body every day, listen, guys, it's impossible to have a bad day. Okay? I don't care what you say. I was sat in the 24-hour club in Dallas. Everyone knows it. I'm in there after my second marriage, nowhere to go. I slept there on the floor, cockroaches, with other guys like me. Best time of my life. I didn't laugh so much in all my life. It's not about what you've got. It's what you can do. How can I help another human being today? Because I'm telling you, somebody's going to reward you for that, even if you don't think it's much. There was a story a few months ago that I read that a guy in California wanted to commit suicide. So he walked to the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, and he threw himself off the bridge and committed suicide. When the police found him and everything, found out who he was, they went back to his apartment. And in the apartment, they found a suicide note. And this is what the suicide note said. I'm going to walk to the bridge. I'm going to throw myself off and commit suicide. However, if somebody stops me or compliments me or even talks to me on the way, I'm going to turn around and come back. Never underestimate a hello, good day, nice to see you. Never underestimate that, because that is the difference between changing and saving a life and not. Because if I just say hi, I'm not going to make any difference. That's what I thought. I didn't think I'd make a difference. And look what I've gone on to do. They go, you're no different. I'm no cleverer than you are. I'm no different. I just found a solution for an amazing life with this shitty alcoholism and addiction around. And real quickly, Kathy, grieve. Don't let anybody anywhere tell you not to grieve. You have to grieve when we lose a son. You have to grieve when we lose a daughter. But, and here's the but, people say to me all the time, oh, my uncle died last night, but at least I didn't drink. Drinking's got fuck all to do with this, remember? It's the symptom. It's the spots to my chicken pox. You know, the problem is everyone else thinks we need to rely on alcohol and drugs to grieve. We need to rely on other. No, we don't. Human beings, before what alcoholics and addicts or depressive or suicidal, we're human beings. And if you don't feel that grief, if you don't go through the stages of grief, it will come back and bite you on the ass. And I'm so glad that you're doing that. And I'm so sorry for your loss. Is alcoholism and addiction summed up? Okay. My wife and her brother and mom and dad and everyone were at a nice barbecue one afternoon about a year ago. Brother is an alcoholic and suffering, doesn't know where to turn to. What happens is he leaves the party, tells my wife, I'll see you tomorrow. We'll go and do that thing you always wanted to do. Drove home to the garage, opened the garage, walked in and shot himself in the head. That's alcoholism and addiction. You see, you can't let your subconscious thoughts run your brain, your life. You can't do it. And it will want to. And I have neural pathways at every opportunity wants to self-sabotage. Oh, it's a bad day today. Oh, I think I'll have a beer. Oh, it's a bad day. Next time you say it's a bad day, think about that for a second. Was it really a bad day? Or was it 5 fucking minutes you spread all over the day? Because it's usually the first one. Get your shit together. Oh, don't be so hard on everybody, Rob. Come and sit in my seat here and watch the thousands of people that have died in front of me before you say, don't be so harsh. You know, it's a suggestive program, but it's not a program of suggestions, guys. Get into a good book-based program, a good treatment center. Get your fucking life back. And don't let anybody tell you that you can't do this, because it's bullshit. Everybody wants to keep each other sick. Oh, Johnny's had his relapse. He's had it all there. Hey, Rob, can you get him a cup of coffee? Fuck no, I can't get him a cup of coffee. Why isn't little Johnny on the same program that got me to a different place? Right. That's the problem. Is everyone wants to collect the little chip? There's a solution. And you know, if you sat there and you're struggling, guys, I mean, you really sat there with the gun or the bottle or whatever it is, and you're at that point, you fucking call me. 214-600-0210 is my personal cell phone number. It's best if you text because I'm crazy busy, but I will get back to you. You see, I'd rather have a 10-minute pet talk, and by the way, it will be a fucking pet talk, otherwise I'll send you $100 if it doesn't work, than hear about your funeral. Does that make sense out there, guys? Yeah. See, this isn't about the money, it's about helping another human being. This is the way to live.
I can attest to that, you guys. I messaged Dr. Kelly. He messaged me back. When he can't talk, he sends me to his assistant, Courtney, and she's right on it. They do respond. They do care. There is hope. There is a solution to what's going on in here, so we can live out here and have these great relationships and achieve our potential. You know, we're not meant to live in suffering and silence and chaos and all the other garbage that comes with addiction. We're meant for more. Even if you have just one sliver of hope inside you, hang on to that and find somebody else that's like you, and they will feed that sliver of hope, and it'll grow, and you'll
$1 million minds, baby.
Yes.
$1 million minds. We all have our own niche. You know, if you ask a crocodile to climb a tree and perch on top, it's going to be shit. crocodile, you're a waste of time, you're crap, you're horrible. If you ask a bird to do that, no problem. If you ask a bird to go and hunt in the lakes and the rivers and kill, not going to do it. We all have our own niche in life. Find your niche, go out and do it well. Like I say, all my staff are recovered alcoholics, and that is because they're the best geniuses in the world, the flipping world. And this is what it's all about. Let's live life. You know, I have a saying that I made up when I was on the streets, is I'm living the dream today instead of dreaming of living. Because when I was on the streets, that's all I did was dream of living a normal life. And all of a sudden, I get to do that shit today. You think, despite everything I do, the TV, the radio, the books, the fame and all that shit, you think my feet are not still in the trenches? Yes, they are. Otherwise, I wouldn't have given my personal cell phone number out.
Absolutely. So are you like a lot of other professionals that speak publicly, and then when it's over, nobody comes to talk to you and approaches you because they feel like you're unapproachable or you're off limits to them?
That's crazy. I mean, that's crazy. A couple of years ago in the Dallas office, I was there and somebody came in, I saw it and he went out. But two nurses, one just started, one old nurse. And the young one said, hey, did you just see what Dr. Robb did? That guy was suicidal when he came and he walked out, he's skipping, he's hugging us all. He's absolutely amazing. And the older nurse says, I know. Have you told him that? Oh, no, I mean, he already knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So if you see somebody doing good stuff, tell them. Yeah. You're amazing today. That dress is beautiful. You look so amazing. Hey, buddy, I love them sneakers. I love that shirt. I love them tattoos. You're amazing today, buddy. Compliment, compliment, compliment. Nobody is. And it got pretty lonely for me. I went to my own 12-step meeting and I'm in there. And we started about a year ago. And for the first 6 months, nobody would speak to me. And I was chairing most of the meetings. You know, and I said to my sponsor, I said, hey, can you tell me why nobody likes me? Do they all hate me in here? And he said, they hate you? I said, yeah. Scared shitless of you. They see you on the TV. They see you doing this. What? I couldn't believe it. So I told everybody that it's bullshit and I hug everybody and it's changed everything. But the perspective of each other, as in not being able to see my own truth, is phenomenal. Everybody needs a hug. Everybody needs a compliment.
I'm coming for my hug, Dr. Kelly. I need that oxytocin.
Get the oxytocin in, baby. $1 million mines.
We're coming up on an hour. I really appreciate your time. Is there anything you would like to say in closing you haven't touched on? You know, I just want everybody to know you have the power to turn your mess into a message. For one, and to not isolate. Please don't isolate, because the opposite of recovery is addiction. Did I say that backwards? The opposite of addiction is connection. Connection. That's what I'm saying. It's about being connected, finding a community, finding coaches and mentors, and repeating that cycle over and over again. I went and saw. I was at a conference all weekend with Ed Milet, Brian Underwood, Jay Shetty, and some other powerful speakers. And I feed into that type of energy. I want people to pour into me, and that's what I'm hoping I do with this platform, with my depth and my personal experience. I pour into others in a way that's not detrimental to myself. It's all about love, connection, community. Without those things, I will die. I will die.
Well, talk about isolation. We did some tests. They have a very famous prison here that kills people. Sorry, the sentence of death, but they get through them pretty quick. And we did a research on there once. We was lucky enough to go in, and we worked for part of the government. And we went in and we did some trials on the guys on death row. We found out that the people that get to an actual needle or the chair, 90% of them were insane. And the reason why they were insane is because of the isolation. You know, isolation will kill us. Selfishness will kill us. But let me leave you with this, guys. And thank you for all the kind comments. I appreciate you. Is empowered people empower people.
Absolutely. Build up and empower people. And it works within us too. So one more. You dropped a bunch of weight here recently, didn't you?
I've almost 100 pounds. I decided. By the time I wanted to be, I don't know why, 50, I give it all in. I've been dieting and training most of my life. And then when I was about 59, I didn't like the way I was 320 pounds or something like that. And I carried it well, but still much overweight. I wanted to be the best 60-year-old around. So that was my aim a year ago when I started it off. And I'm doing pretty good. I must admit, I'm doing pretty good right now. So yeah, it's just, but it's ready. It's ready. When you're ready, you're ready.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Everybody throw up some hearts for Dr. Kelly. I'm gonna post the link to his group in the comments as well. Message him, follow him, feed into whatever he has. This is lived experience with an education and a heart and compassion and an empathy for helping other people, man.
One more thing, Higgy. Listen, guys that are listening now, I know there's a few people listening. If you want to friend me on Facebook in the next 30 minutes, I have 19 people left before I hit the max. So anything that comes up in the next 30 minutes, I'm just going to friend you. Come on board. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Woo!
Thank you again, Dr. Kelly. I would love to have you back on again in the future. I'm just getting rolling with my podcast again, and having you here has been a true blessing. Thank you for the love you show for everyone else, and just the example you set. And as a professional in the field and a person in recovery, you're so needed, so valued, and so appreciated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. Great to be here.
Love you all. Please, guys, if you're out there struggling, keep trudging. I love you all.